Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Juan Punchy Gonzalez. He is a veteran live sound engineer, touring production manager, music producer, and musician, and a sex symbol as he calls himself. Welcome to the show, Juan.
Thank you, AJ. It's a pleasure to be here. And just so you understand, I'm a sex symbol first. Then I'm a sound engineer, tour manager, record producer, blah, 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 blah. But sex symbol comes first. And it's a self-imposed um title that I've given myself only to take the burden off of other sex symbols of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely, one. I can truly understand, and that I'm sure a lot of these humanitarian organizations will certainly consider awarding you some sort of an award for taking away a lot of burden of these other symbols. But I want to understand a bit more about why do you call yourself a sex symbol? Is there a particular story to it, or one
No.
fine morning you started?
It's just because clearly I'm not. And I figured if I can identify as one, then maybe somebody else will see it too. That's all. You know, I'm just trying to get over my own. No, I'm. It's obviously just a joke, and the best part about it is that because it's in my bio, people have to talk about it, and it just makes it more of it's just a troll. I'm just trolling and being silly and having fun with it. I mean, why not? There's definitely people out there in the world that proclaim to be things that they're certainly not. So if I'm going to give myself title, sex symbols, fantastic. You kidding?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and it's very realistic also, one, if you look at it from any point of view. And you are also in an industry which is very, very sexy, if we can look at from that point of view. Except that behind the scenes there is a lot of pain and a lot of hard work involved, especially in the
Absolutely.
music business. So I want to understand. Let's start by understanding a bit about your journey so that people know who they are actually, listening to.
Okay. So after I was deposited on this planet by my UFO carrier, no, I'm
Right.
kidding. No, I'm joking, of course. Born in Tampa, Florida, to a performing arts family. I don't know anything else. So I was a child actor when I was a kid, and then I got into the production aspect as a young teenager, and I started working in clubs as a late teenager. Working with various bands and loading equipment in and loading equipment out, stacking PA, stacking, doing stuff like that in the late '80s and early '90s. And then I got my first like world tour when I was 21, and I just never stopped, and I continued touring for 20 plus years, and then I kind of retired from the touring game. Uh, and now I work at a theater law in Florida, and I retired because I had children for the first time at age 44, and I wanted to. I saw so many touring parents that had kids at home and they're on tour and their kids are having a horrible time and the wife is having a miserable time because they're not there together, etc. And I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be a Skype dad, which Skype was the all the rage then,
Right.
but. I didn't want to be a Skype dad. I wanted to actually be home and raise my children, and I was afforded the opportunity to have full-time employment in my hometown, so I could also be close to my parents, who are obviously older. And so I wanted to be, the guy that kind of takes care of the family because I had been the guy that was gone for 2 decades and two plus 2 decades plus most of the time, and just traveling the planet and doing my thing, and then I did all my studio work in between touring. So I did a lot of records and recordings for local artists in town, and also made music videos and documentaries and all this stuff for the artists that I was working for. So that, basically, I like to say, if there was any money to be made in the industry, I wanted to make it, because it is the music business and not the music friendship. So,
Right.
so, so, um, it's like anything else. You got to hustle, and it's lots of 17-hour days, 18-hour days, and you're in the middle of of an edit. And your computer blue screens, and now you've got to reinstall Windows and all your operating system and all this. And thank God you backed up your data drive and all. I mean, all the stuff that goes on when when you're in this silly business, and you don't you're doing it on whatever budget you happen to have. So, yep, and there you go. That's my life story. That's pretty good, right? It's not bad. And then I make these records for myself. I make a lot of music because I have all this equipment, and I have knowledge. So I make music for myself. I make my own music, and I call them kind of what I call them vanity projects, because nobody wants to play with me. I'm kidding. No, it's just easier for me to do it myself, since I can play everything. I play drums, I play everything. I play all these instruments. You have to, if you own a studio and you're recording artists, and they need piano. I mean, you can come in, you can hire a piano guy, or you can just do it yourself. You can hire a drummer, you can just do it yourself, and just kind of move forward, because it is the music business. So, um, that's it. And I'm trying to I'm trying to run on it, because you're not asking me anything, AJ. You're driving me crazy here.
No, no, no. I'm asking, means I'm learning. And then this is all about, learning. I'm learning, audience is learning. And a lot of people, uh, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and a century later will get this video and learn a lot of things, about the past. But in the present, if you look at it, you talk about, that music can take you to many places as long as you do many things. Help us understand this particular aspect of your work.
Okay, so you know, getting a job with a touring artist, you know, um, it's definitely, there's a certain amount of right place, right time, right skill, and kind of all these things kind of have to intersect at the same time, and you can make your own luck. Right? So, for example, one of the things that a lot of folks have always done, if they want to quote unquote make it in the business, they move to places like Nashville, they move to places like Los Angeles, California, New York, that kind of thing, where there are plenty of artists that are hiring people that they live there, so they're going to hire somebody local if they can to be their audio engineer, their guitar technician, their drum technician, or even be in their band, right? So if you go to those places, you increase your luck, right? And if you have the appropriate skills, then you increase your luck. All these things just happen to kind of have to intersect, but that also requires a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of sacrifice as well. So it's a calling more than anything else. Some people stumble onto it by accident, and they're grumpy the entire time they're there. But for those of us that actually wanted to do this, and we're able to do this, it is a blessing, and you treat it as such. If not, you're quickly replaced, because that's one thing that there is no shortage of. There is no shortage of human beings on this planet, and people will find someone else to do your job for you. And so, keeping employment is also um, a huge factor in quote unquote success. You can get it, but you got to keep it too.
Right, right. All this music, tours and all, they may sound very or look very, uh, you know, sexy if we use, and for especially for people who are very new, and they may try to get into a thing like this. But what is the actual fact on the ground? How is it actually on the ground? Is it very lonely? Is it very boring? Is it very interesting? Is it very stressful because you can be quickly replaced?
Okay, I can tell you this, because AJ, I just every couple of years, in my theater, it does get kind of slow in the summer, and so it affords me the opportunity to tour again, if the right situation happens to come across. So I just did. I literally came back 48 hours ago from a tour in South America.
Right.
And I was there with a band called Symphony X, which is like progressive metal, I guess would be the genre. or whatever. And they're very great, awesome musicians, incredible stuff, right? If you like heavy music and uh, uh, they're great, they're fantastic. Anyway, we did 2 weeks down there. All right, so this was my schedule: fly from New Jersey to Sao Paulo, Brazil, connect flight to Belo Horizonte, play a show in Belo Horizonte. Next morning, fly to Sao Paulo, play a show in Sao Paulo. Next morning, fly to Curitiba, play a show in Curitiba. Next day, fly to Santiago, Chile on a later flight, get there at midnight. Next morning, play the show Santiago, Chile, get on a plane, fly to Lima, Peru, get on a plane, fly to Costa Rica, play the show in Costa Rica, get on a plane, and land in Miami in the middle of a hurricane. Okay, that was my schedule for the last 2 weeks. So that means that I was averaging 3-4 hours a night of sleep, and I would have to work 16-hour days, all for a 90-minute show.
Right.
So and I was the tour manager, sound engineer. So that means that all the logistics of making sure that everybody's everywhere they need to be, this vehicle goes, picks up these people at this certain time, comes back. All of that fell on my plate, and I had to mix the show too. Okay. So obviously, I get paid pretty good for what I do, right? But it requires a tremendous amount of skill set that I've acquired, not that I was born with, that I've acquired through all of the things that I already know are going to happen because I've seen it, I've been there, I'm experienced, right? So everybody has the opportunity to get these kind of experiences, but it's definitely not glamorous. It's definitely a tremendous amount of work. And especially since you have to maintain these crazy schedules. And it's not much different on a bus tour. Like you see these bands in the tour bus, they
Right.
get off the tour bus. Same thing, man. They're playing 4 nights a week, and there's hundreds of miles in between. And yeah, there's a little bit of respite because you're on a moving vehicle. But how good do you think you're really sleeping on a moving vehicle? You know what I mean? Are you really getting that real power sleep? Are you waking? No, of course not. And you're breathing diesel fumes all the time. And it's and your significant other and your children, they're at home, thousands of miles away, possibly, and you don't know what's going to happen to them. Is what's going on, or are they safe? These are all things that happen. And so, yes, it's lonely. Yes, it's a lot of work. But you get a lot of laughs too. You get crazy stories that nobody will ever believe ever happened to you, right? And you get to see the planet not as a tourist, because you're interacting with the working class people at the venue, and you're interacting with the fans who are normal people, right? They're not the people that are there to kiss your butt when you get off an airplane.
Right.
Right? They're not there. Hey, welcome to wherever we are. Here's this, here's that. I mean, there's a certain amount of that, with the hotels, and yes, people can pick you up at the airport, and that work for the company. But during the day, man, I'm dealing with the local sound guy, and the local sound guy probably lives in a small house or in an apartment or whatever. He's a normal guy, and he does this every day with a different person that shows up, every day he's dealing with a different tour manager, sound guy, the local production people. They're all locals, and you have to learn a little bit of the language or you're a cultural jerk. These are all things if you want to be successful. If you want to be a loser, yeah, show up at the work drunk, lose the band's money, make the local promoters scared to pay you because they know that you're an addict of some sort of drug or some nonsense. Sure. Those guys exist too.
Right. So who has the fun during the tour, or how do you have fun?
You make your own
Is
fun, man.
it in making money?
You make your own fun, and sometimes it's just, yeah, sometimes the local fans are cool, and if you happen to have a night off or a day off, they'll take you out. They're like, dude, there's this awesome place. Come hang out with us, and we're gonna, there's a band playing or whatever. We're gonna take you to this place, that place. Oh, we get off. One of the coolest things is every once in a while you get someone that's kind of high up in like a museum or some sort of cultural thing, and they happen to be fans of the band. And like, for example, I had to turn down this invitation, but listen to this awesome invitation, right? There's a guy, he's one of the top dogs at um the observatory in Santiago, Chile, on top of this mountain. Okay, it takes like 2.5
Right.
hours to get there from the city, right? And he had invited us on to go to this observatory to go look at stars in the
Right.
sky with a, like, the super mega expensive telescope, right? And we couldn't do it because our plane landed too late. You know what I mean? There was just no way we could have done it. Our plane landed at midnight, so we couldn't do this. But that's an example. I got an example. I was working for a band called Nile, which is like heavy metal music, right? But they sing all about Egypt and Egypt culture, ancient Egypt culture.
Right.
The curator of the Egyptian exhibit at the Vatican is a fan, and he invited us all to go behind the scenes and go look at some of the antiquities from Egypt that aren't even on display to the public.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool. And of course, when I was younger, there was lots of girls and drinking and other stuff too. But as you get older, that's just not fun anymore. Going to the observatory and going to go look at
Right.
some petrified cat is more fun. It's like, wow, how cool is that? This cat's 3,000 years old. Oh, look, dinosaur bones. Awesome. There, that's my fun. My fun is getting 6 hours sleep. That's incredible.
Right.
Backstage,
Right. And
backstage these days is a bunch of dudes staring at their phones and scrolling through social media and arguing with their girlfriends. That's what backstage is now. So
right. Right one. So in now you see the world is changing so fast. Now tour is also not an easy thing, with some terrorism threats leading to cancellation of the of course a couple of events. Just as I read it just today itself, a couple of all these music tours, they have been cancelled. How do you look? Is it now easy? Easy to be at home, make music, showcase it to the world, and earn a lot of money, like a lot of people are doing. Even streamers are earning money, knowing a little bit of music, and playing, but playing whatever they want and earning lots of money. How do you see this whole trend of different avenues opening up for a lot of people in the music industry?
well, the industry is certainly changing. I mean, ever since the advent of downloadable music, the music business model used to be different. It used to be that you would go on tour as an advertisement
Right.
for this piece of plastic that you would sell in a store, right? A recording,
Right.
right? Nowadays, your recording is your business card for your live show, because
Right.
but at the same time, the cost of making these recordings is reduced 90%, because there's so much technology now to allow you to record music, whereas back in the day you would have to go to these specialized places that had all this high dollar equipment. You can get the same relative effect with a good ear and a couple $100 in a PC. You know what I mean? So you can get relatively decent results. So the cost of recording has gone down quite a bit. But then again, nobody's also buying recordings either. They stream it. When you can have an entire tower of records on your phone,
Right.
I mean, what's the purpose of buying a piece of plastic anymore? Of course, there's nostalgia involved. But anyway, get that aside. The streaming guys, Lord love them. Good for them if they're able to make a living currently this way. I think that they're going to find their successes to be short lived. I think that, just like anything else, the best of them are going to rise to the top and kind of stay. And the rest are going to be a flash in the pan. And then people are going to stop caring about them when they get older and uglier.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of really great musicians out there that you see, like on YouTube, like these monster bass players, guitar players, that kind of thing. They can't write a song to save their lives, so there's not going to be anything that's memorable what they're doing, other than the fact that they're really good. But then here comes along this other kid who's better than you, and then people stop paying attention to you. So uh The lasting things are people that can actually create and write songs. I think the scarier thing, AJ, is AI and its ability to be able to write good songs at some point. Some of the AI stuff I've seen is actually quite impressive, and it's spooky to people that have to do it by hand, or like to do
Right.
it by hand, But I guess the same thing could be argued for the people that used to hand roll cigars when there's machines that do it faster now.
Right. So you, if I understand, this AI created, at least the lyrics, the songs will be there, or even the music will be created by AI, and it has a good future as humans.
David Bowie a long time ago said that music is kind of like one day music will be like water. We really
Okay.
don't care who makes it. We just know we like it.
Okay. That's
So
very right.
think about it, right?
Right.
Do you really care who makes your fresh water?
No, when you think of water, you just think of water. And I guess same with music. You listen to something, you like it, you listen to it again and again. That's it. And then you
That's
try
right.
and find out who made it.
Yeah. And at some point we're gonna stop caring who makes it too, because if it's made by robots, who gives a damn?
So, is music a viable career? Is this industry going to be the same the way it is, or will it change drastically? And how soon do you see it changing to what we are talking about?
Oh, I think there will always be a place for people to watch and see live music. I think that that's always going to be a thing, right?
Okay.
People always want to come to be entertained, right? The question remains is what is going to happen to all the stars,
Right.
right? It's stars that uh people want to come see. They'll go see someone that's not a star, but they want to come see a star. So I think that the more I think as the sky fills with lots of little stars, I think that the big stars are going to get more obscured by it all. It's kind of like if you live in a clouded area. If you live in a cloudy area, right? You get to see, of course, you see Venus and you see the North Star, and you see some of the larger constellations like Big Dipper and Orion and that kind of stuff. But then when you get out into the desert and there's not that many clouds and you see all the stars, it's kind of hard to see Venus and Orion, and because there's so many stars out there. And I think that the modern music, the older music industry was a very cloudy sky. So every once in a while you would see the other stars, but for the most part you always saw these particular ones. And the modern music industry is going to be an uncloudy sky. And I would I'm going to make a joke now, and I think that that's because there's global warming and we're losing the atmosphere. I'm going to make a
Right.
joke, but no, but seriously, I think that's what the future is going to be. And luckily for the sky and all the stars in it, unless there's some massive war that wipes out all of humanity, I think we're going to also be increasing in population too. So I think that that's still going to give opportunity for everybody to have a little piece of the pie. More people, more stars, more pie. Less people, more stars, less pie. Make sense?
Trying to understand, and let me understand it a bit more in terms of business, and a lot of people who are so in this whole challenging space with unexpected turns, especially now. We can see, how does one plan a career in a industry like this? Is it about talent? Is it about perseverance? Is it about consistency? Is it about now knowing so many things?
Yes. Everything you said. You got to be good. You got to want to do it. You got to put in the hours. You have to suffer. And you have to be in the right place at the right time, and make sure you're not making bad decisions as much as you can. All of those things equal a success, not just in the music industry, but in anything, right? Like, obviously, like, I'm short, right? I'm a short guy. I'm 5'5". I'm not really sure what that is in metric. I know that you're probably not an imperial over there, but I should know what it is in metric. Darn it! I mean, I have to say this all the time. So anyway, I'm 5'5", not a tall person. I'm never going to be a basketball player. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's not my thing, right? Not going to be a heavyweight boxer. These are things that this is something I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be a ballerina.
Right.
Not going to happen, no matter how hard I try. Right?
Right.
Right? So as long as people understand their limitations before they get into the game, right? And work within those parameters, then start making the right decisions as far as where you want to go with your career. So I don't. That's the one thing that I don't understand about a lot of modern society is this idea that we're all supposed to be that no matter what, we're all supposed to end up in the same spot, right? This kind of equity concept. I don't get it because that's just not true. It's just not true. And you can handicap other people to make sure that, like, the ugly guy is also considered a sex symbol, right? You can handicap other people, but at the end of the day, you're not doing anybody any kind of service, right? So this idea that we all have to, like I said, this idea that we all have to end up in the same place is just nonsense. I don't think that's real. There's some people that are just not destined to do well, and it's not their fault, or maybe it is, right? But and give help wherever you can, but you can only help somebody that wants to help themselves. For example, you have somebody that doesn't want to eat food. You can cook them the best food in the world, open their mouth, stick it in there, force their jaw up and down, right? But they'll still spit it out at you because they don't want to eat. And they're either not smart enough to realize that they need to eat, or they just don't care. Either one of those people are dangerous in your life, right? So, you have to pick the right people to be around, do whatever you can, but there's definitely a certain point where people don't want to be helped. And just leave them alone. Let them not be helped. Fine. There's others. And there's, like I said, there's no shortage of humans on this planet. And it's unfortunate if it's a family member. That's the worst part about it, is when you have people that need help in life and they're a family member, and you can't literally just throw them away. Although you may have to, if it's gonna hinder your own success and your own ability to do well. That sounds horrible, but I mean, what else can you do?
Absolutely. What else can you do? I totally understand this part. Some people just do not want to be helped, and
Nope.
or some people just don't care. And then you have to also see that you are at least caring for yourself, that your mindset remains intact, that your mental makeup remains intact, and that also you are doing justice with yourself and your responsibilities in the time.
AJ, it's kind of like the airplane is going down, right? Your plane is
Right.
failing, and the
Right.
oxygen mask comes down from the sky, right? It comes down from the ceiling, right? And then what's the thing they tell you? Put your own mask on first, and then help your kid, right?
Right.
And your first instinct as a parent is like, "Are you kidding? My kid needs to breathe." But if you're dead, that kid ain't gonna breathe. So if you are endangering yourself in the process of helping others, then neither one of you are going to get help, and both of you might go down with the plane. Well, you're both going down. If you're in a plane, you're going down anyway, AJ. That's how it is, babe. But I mean, like,
But
you're like,
at least if you have the oxygen very much intact for you, you never know that you are alive for the chances that might crop up. It might land onto some, like
Yeah.
it landed on the river in on the Hudson or
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah,
else.
yeah.
You got
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
alive for the chances.
Yeah. I remember what was his name? Sullenberg.
Scully,
Sully
Scully,
Sullenberg.
right, right.
I remember
Right.
that. Yeah, and there's a conspiracy theory out there that like the gas that's actually in the mask is like nitrous oxide. It's basically get you high so that you're not too worried about dying.
Yeah, it gets you high. You are already high up in the air. You got to go down, and
Yeah, but I was saying, but like it gets you all like, woo, oh, dude, we're going down. I don't know. I've never had the oxygen masks deploy on me, and all the crazy stuff that's happened to me on airplanes. In my years of traveling, and I've experienced some crazy stuff on airplanes. I've never seen the oxygen masks. That would be the one that would be like, all right, now I'm spooked.
yeah, it's good you don't get to see that. Recently, there have been certain incidents when, because of air turbulence and all, these masks have dropped and people had. And I saw those pictures of empty planes, how it has been for those, say, 10, 15 minutes or 5 minutes of difficult time. So, any industry also faces such difficult times, so those turbulence, and especially in the music industry, Yuan, how does one prepare themselves in terms of mindset, in terms of skill for surviving there? Because once you are there, and as you said, music might be what they love, music might be what they can do, they are doing, and they don't want to get out of it, because outside it, they may think that they have less opportunity. So how do you stay put in an industry which is evolving, which is challenging nowadays, and which has so many difficult things? So how do you look at the mindset part? What is you look in terms of the skills part? Because the AI is also coming in.
Now, here's the beautiful thing: the music business is not much different than any other business, right? It's
Right.
very similar. There's and this idea that I am my own boss. No, you're not. Your fans are your boss. And you're only as good as your last record or your last show or any of these things, right? Same thing as if you're, say, running a bakery, right? You own a
Right.
bakery, technically you're your own boss because it's your place. But if you got no customers, bro, you're fired. Your whole business is fired. Okay. So you always have a customer. And I have been with bands that they get upset when there's fans out there. "Oh, I got to sign all these autographs. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't want to meet this guy. I don't want to do this interview. I don't want to do this stuff, blah, blah, blah." They get all baby. And I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, "Listen, man, you think it's bad now? Wait till the day nobody wants your autograph, and wait till the day that nobody wants to talk to you about your new music. Then you're going to be very, very unhappy. So shut up and do your job and go over there and sign those friggin' autographs, take those stupid pictures, do that stupid interview, and get on that stage and turn it on, or you don't have a career anymore, dude, and you're going to get fired." Right? And most people like my frank attitude on that. And it's a symbiotic relationship. As long as the artist is working, I'm working. As long as the fans are there, the artist is working. Right?
Right.
And it's the same thing in any business. Think about one business where everything that I've said, just replace the word artist with doctor or architect or whatever. You place it there. If anybody fails on their duties, they're going to get fired. And that's it. That's the key to success. Shut up and do your job. That's it.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Yuan, on this. And I'm sure a lot of people will understand this, how the world is changing, but some facts remain constant, and this is it was the same many years back. I guess it is the same even today, and whichever industry it is, there are no shortcuts anywhere in today's time. Even if you have the best technology, which might give you in terms of shortcuts, but it's actually not the case on the ground.
That's true. I mean, look, anything worth doing is worth doing well. At least try, right? At least give it a shot. You might just do it right. you know, but if you don't try, then you'll never succeed. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. There's much to learn from you, Yuan, about this music industry, about music, and so many things. So a lot of people would want to connect with you, know more about you, uh, do business with you if possible. So what's the best way for them to do so?
well, AJ, I'm gonna go here and plug my new record really quick.
Right.
I like I told you before, I have these like music projects that I put out, and I just put out a record called Cosmic Punch for a project called Cosmic Punch. The record is called For All Nerd Kind, and it's all about it's. I only sing about nerdy stuff. So there's a song about Star Trek and Glenn Larson and anime, and my new music video is called I Love Anime. It's on YouTube, Rumble, and all this nonsense. And you can find anything you need to know about me on cosmicpunch.com. So if you go there, that's where you're going to find all the music. That's where you're going to find the music videos. That's where you're going to find links on me and my other projects that I've done. You can do a Google search on Juan Punchy Gonzalez, and you can read up all kinds of stuff that I've done in the past. Um, and that's the easy way to find me. I'm very findable on the internet. My even my Facebook is Juan Punchy Gonzalez. It's like, in other words, I'm not hiding behind any ats or any of that nonsense. You know what I mean? And I believe in the Web 1.0 concept of own a domain, damn you. And it's like putting a flag in the ground of the internet. I have social media, and yeah, you can find the links to it on cosmicpunch.com. Um, but cosmicpunch.com is where I want people to go first and then go wherever they need to go. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, AJ, for having me. Appreciate you.